school issue, Dr. Littlefield. I do have a question for you. It has been brought to my attention recently that many students asking for tours of the Manchester high schools have been denied, and I'm wondering if we know that to be factual, that tours are not being given. It was stated recently in a Hooksett Banner editorial that there was a student that was given a tour. Do we know what the policy is with the Manchester School District in reference to high school students being given tours?
No.
We don't know what the policy is?
No, I'm being a wise guy. And I would really encourage, when people have questions like that, because I spend 2/3 of my professional life on Manchester issues, that those questions be directed to Manchester.
Okay.
So if they request a tour and the answer is no, if it's central, I would encourage people to call the central principal.
Okay, it is the central principal. It's my understanding that he's denied tours.
Then I would then call the superintendent and ask what the policy is of the school district. I have brought this very issue to the attention of the Manchester Board of Schools. And I think it was during one of our Candia meetings. I mentioned the fact that some school districts that we don't have a relationship with were being very receptive to giving tours. And Manchester had the sales job to do, and that we encourage them to do that. I think, and Matt, I don't know, you might be able to help me on this. I think there is one point during youngsters making their course selections and so forth that they do have the ability to go and visit the school, or there's an open house, but I don't think it's on demand. If I could. Yeah.
That is correct. So Weston Central will come over here sometime at the end of March, early April. Then they'll plan for an open house where traditional open house like we have for incoming 5th graders to 6th graders, where they can do tours. That is correct. There are students that have not been granted tours at the high school.
The rub here is, I'm not going to stick my nose into some of this, but early resolution to some of this is beneficial. Our kids will get a tour.
Our kids will get a tour.
There is, I have Manchester's glasses on right now. There is no need to schedule individual tours now with my Manchester glasses on, because youngsters shouldn't be shopping for a high school. Their high school is central. So, I mean, you see how that works. There are things that really have frustrated, I think, all of us over the last several months. This one, I almost understand that those tours will be available during the course selection process. Is our youngsters prepared to go to the high school over there? I know other school districts have been very flexible in granting tours, but we have no relationship with those schools.
Is there a reason, and I don't know, I have 5th graders, is there a reason that the tours are so late? Because in Hooksett, we do have a choice in Manchester. You can go to Central, or if you live on the east side of the river, you go to Central. If you live on the west side, you go to Memorial, unless you petition to ask differently. And you could also be considering Trinity, Derryfield, or a private school, and those deadlines are much earlier. But if you went to Central and all the bells and whistles went off, you wouldn't have to put your family through an expensive Trinity or Derryfield.
I would answer that by saying, I don't want to be answering questions that may be defensive of Manchester. I would say that the time frame is a reasonable time frame, and what I'm used to in terms of the middle school to high school transition here and elsewhere. I think our unique set of circumstances is we do have people who have been shopping for, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all, who have been shopping for a high school. And I can understand how disruptive it can be to have youngsters coming and touring while school is in session. I know I protect that dearly here in Hooksett, those types of interruptions. So that would sort of be my response.
Madam Chair, next question.
1 second. I think that Matt's trying to get her attention.
I will let you know in the last year and this year, I've talked to the principals of both Weston Central and our guidance department. We all agree that Weston Central, when they come over there for their presentations, needs to be later in March, early in April than what it has been in the past, as it helps us and our students and our teachers in properly putting the students in the correct class. It was way too early, and that's why we moved to that. But that is correct what Dr. Littlefield said. Every student will get a tour, and then generally, just like we do here at Crowley, after orientation night, any student or parent who wants to come for a private tour, after that, over the summer, we welcome you with open arms.
Ms. Katie.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, do they get a tour while school's going, or is it an open house in the evening?
It's an open house in the evening, but they also, I believe, get an additional thing. Not 100% sure, but there is a freshman, what do they call it, freshman academies that they do either at the end of the school year or the beginning of the school year.
Right, I guess what I'm saying is, I understand Dr. Littlefield's situation. I'm just trying to be clear if we're talking tour versus open house. Because I look at a tour as something where you're walking through an operation while it's operating, and an open house where you're going and seeing a presentation at night, and maybe they walk you through the school and show you the classrooms and all.
I believe
There's a difference,
It's
as
the
I'm
latter.
saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's the latter.
Thank you.
I think the point that brought this up, and then we can move on, is that it appears some people got tours during the day at the beginning of the year and other people were denied. And I just was asked to bring it up, and that's why I brought it up. In fairness, that all students are treated equal and there's no preferential treatment.